Alright, I know this is just some sort of Disney or cartoon magic, and I'm being too picky, and that's Berryman's job.
Okay, you want me to be nitpicky? You're on, John Joe. Mulan is a 1998 animated musical historical action adventure film produced by Walt Disney Feature Animation for Walt Disney Pictures. It's based on the Chinese legend of Mulan. It was Disney's 36th animated feature and the 9th animated film produced and released during the Disney Renaissance. It was directed by Tony Bancroft and Barry Cook. The plot takes place in China during the Han dynasty, where Mulan, daughter of aged warrior Fa Zhou, impersonates a man to take her father's place during a general conscription to counter a Han invasion. When the film was released, it was well received by critics and the public, who praised the animation, plot and characters and the music score, and it made tons of money. It even got nominations at the Grammys and Academy Awards. But like we say on this channel, there's no such thing as a perfect film. So that's what we're going to do today. Talk about 10 things that can make Mulan better. Number 10. Wrong bad guys. The film's set during the Han dynasty in China, which lasts from the 3rd century BC to the 3rd century AD or 4th century AD. There's a bit of confusion there. The legend of Mulan is actually set between the 4th and the 6th century AD. Well, the original legend at least. The Huns, that are the bad guys in this film, they were around from around about the 3rd century BC, and they wiped themselves out around about the 2nd century AD, so they weren't actually around in Mulan's time. Now, in the original legend, Mulan actually was going against nomadic hordes, so they were just people without a country, just attacking for the sheer hell of it. So why did they use Huns? They could have used anybody. I mean, the guy they got as the overall bad guy, he was fantastic, but the backstory where he's a Hun didn't quite work because it's not exactly true. They've taken a lot of creative liberties here. They could have used more historical accurate facts, and it wouldn't have actually changed anything in the film, and this reviewer here would not be as nitpicky as I've been told I am. Number 9. Non-Asian cast. So a film set in China should have primarily had a Chinese or at least Asian cast. Now, a lot of the cast were, especially the main character was voiced by an Asian lady, but there was still a lot of American cast in this. Now, I'm going to read some of these actors from IMDb, which were in this film, but I don't think they should have been. I mean, you have got as Shan Yu, the villain, Miguel Ferrer. You had Harvey Fierstein, June Foray, Miriam Margolyes, Eddie Murphy, Marnie Nixon, Donny Osmond. And these people are not Asian. Why? Why could you not use an Asian cast? I mean, this is borderline whitewashing. Now, I know Disney wanted to make this film to appease the Chinese government and the Chinese people after something they did a few years prior to this, but still, this film should have had a Chinese cast. They should not use American. It's voice acting. You don't need big stars. Disney have never ever needed big stars. Talking about big stars though. Number 8. Eddie Murphy. Yeah, Eddie Murphy. I got the feeling he was a little bit wrong for this role. I mean, he does good voiceover work. Look at Donkey in Shrek, but that plays to Eddie Murphy. That's not Donkey, that's Eddie Murphy. Whereas this, no, I didn't feel like it was Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is quite a comedy, funny person, but as Mushu, as a guardian, as a selfish guardian, I didn't think he was quite right. I don't know, I found it off-putting. Basically, Disney are trying to replicate what they had with Robin Williams in Aladdin, but they failed. No, sorry, Eddie Murphy wasn't quite right as Mushu here. Number 7. Magic Huns. So right at the very beginning, the Huns are throwing grappling hooks on top of the Great Wall of China. One of the guards see this, he goes to raise the alarm, goes to one of the towers, and they're already in. How? Why? Why were they climbing up if they were already inside the wall? It didn't make sense unless they're all magicians. They have the ability to walk through walls. Now, once they cleared out the Chinese army, but it didn't really make sense. It was quite confusing. Why using grappling hooks to go on the outside of the wall when you're already inside the wall? Yeah. Can someone explain that one to me? Number 6. Vulcans. So, a lot of the Chinese people in this film, they had very pointed ears. I thought we were telling a story about China, not something that happened in Star Trek and Vulcan thousands of years ago. But I didn't quite get why. And I'm not kidding, it wasn't just big ears like me, they actually had pointed ears. Quite a lot, especially children. It didn't really, I don't get it. How insulting would you be if you're a Chinese person and you saw children running around with pointed ears? Bad move, Disney. Number 5. Gravestones. So in this film they have a place where all their ancestors are buried or have shrines to them, and they're all gravestones. Now the first time you see them they all look like stones, but a bit later on during the musical number Mulan goes to them and they all look like they're made of glass or metal or mirrors. What the hell were these gravestones actually made of? There was no consistency, because literally about 2 minutes later they're back to looking like stone, and then they were magically invisible when all the ancestors came back to life as ghosts. But yeah, I don't know what the hell Disney were on, but nothing really added up with that scene. Why were they reflective one moment and then for the rest of the film they're not? And it wasn't a case that was a magical moment, because then I would understand and probably wouldn't be nitpicking, but while she was singing it was reflective. I mean, it looked cool, but it was wrong. Number 4. Guardian Murderer. As seen in the intro to this video, the reason why I am doing this video is because John Joe actually says that I'm good at nitpicking, and he was talking about the Mulan film. I would recommend checking out that video. There's a link to it up here and there's a link in the description down below. But he did also make a good point in that video, something I liked a lot that I'm putting it in mine, and that is Mushu is a murderer. Seriously, he was asked to go and wake the Great Stone Dragon, which he did, but for some reason, there's lots of reasons why he didn't, but the Great Stone Dragon didn't wake up. And in his frustration, he destroyed the statue. That statue is supposed to be the Guardian, and Mushu just murdered him. Flat out murder. There's no other way. Or manslaughter, because it was accidental. But still, Mushu killed the Great Stone Dragon. This is a Disney film and you just showed murder in the first degree there, mate. Number 3. Songs. Every single Disney film always has that at least one signature song which is catchy as hell and that you are singing for ages. Except for this film didn't. I mean, the songs were okay, but there was no standout song. There wasn't one song that everyone knows. I mean, you got Hakuna Matata from Lion King, Let It Go from Frozen, and I have done both those films as well. But even going further back, you've got Beauty and the Beast and Snow White and Robin Hood. All have some fantastic, brilliant songs, but Mulan was missing that. Now they're okay, because when I was watching this, my girlfriend's daughter was literally singing every single song, which is fine, for she's their perfect democrat. But for a family, you need at least one song that is for everybody, and this film was missing that, I'm afraid. Number 2, musical score. One thing that is good about this film is the musical score. It's actually a good score, except it's not very Chinese, except when they're in the Imperial City and there's a parade going on. That was the only time I got the sense that this is a Chinese film. Well, I know it's not, I know it's an American film, but I would have tried to make this musical score have more of that Chinese feel. To like really bring out, have that theme of Chinese. This wasn't, this seemed to be an American film. This could have been set anywhere. I mean, I've already said it could have been set on Vulcan, but I don't know. I just wanted a Chinese feel to this film, and I think this film actually failed on that front. Number 1, pacing. The biggest issue I've got with this film is I felt it was a bit too quick. I know the film's only an hour and a half long, but I also got the feeling that it didn't feel like an hour and a half. It actually shot straight through. It didn't have any time to slow down. It was literally bang, 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 film over. No, bring it back a little bit. This is something Disney does brilliantly, is bring out the full emotion in their film. You really feel that. They take the time to actually invest, but it just sort of just like washed over very quickly. Now, normally, yes, this is designed to be a kids film, but this isn't just purely kids. This is a family film, so it has to be for everything. But yeah, I just felt like the pacing was too fast and there was no off the pedal. It was literally one bit, one bit, one bit, done. Slow it down a little bit. Final thoughts. So what do I actually really think about this film? Well, I'll let you into a secret. I had never actually watched this film before. I thought I had, but when I actually sat down to watch it with my family, I actually realised I've never watched it before. So it was quite interesting to actually watch, especially as I am actually really interested in watching the live action version of it when it comes out on Disney Plus. For free, I'm not paying the £20. But still, the film itself is actually a good film. It's very historical and it was quite nice. And it's also a film that's against the Disney formula. No Disney film before this was based around war. And this film didn't actually just base it around war, it actually full on showed war. It showed the effects of war, and it's really well done, which is playing to Disney's strengths. Now, I will say, I've said it before about the Disney magic. This film does have the Disney magic, which is why it works, and it is a good film. But still, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't work. There are actually quite a lot, when you sit down and think about it, there's quite a lot of things wrong with this film. But it works, for somehow. And I can't explain why, but it's very well done. You can also tell that this is where Disney's moving away from the traditional hand-drawn animation to more CGI. There are a couple of times it doesn't gel that much. I know Disney are fully CGI nowadays, but yeah, there was sometimes it just didn't look quite right, it didn't gel together. But overall, it's a film that you can sit back with your family and just sit back and enjoy, which is what you want sometimes, especially with a Disney film. So what am I going to rank it? Well, I did enjoy this film. I really did actually enjoy this film. So I'm going to give it 8. 8 out of 10 berries is my recommendation on that. But what did you think of this film? Also, if you do like it, if you are a fan of Mulan, go and check out John Jones. He's done 2 fantastic videos on the Mulan franchise. One about Mushu wasn't the only guardian, and the other one's some fan theories about it as well. So go and check him out, because that's quite good. In regards to your thoughts about the film, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be back with you next week where we're talking about some more elements. Go figure. Until then, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.